The Viral Society, COVID-19, and the Digital Computational Media. Tomoko Tamari, Goldsmith, University of London. The paper explores the implications of the COVID-19 pandemic for social life through the use of digital computational media. The virus not only invades organic human bodies, but also has social consequences for digital computer environments. The fear and the uncertainties generated by the virus forces people to access online sources more frequently to obtain information. This suggests that the dependence on digital technology becomes a more silent part of everyday life. This raises the question of what happened to human social life, where it becomes more dependent on digital computational media and AI technologies. To consider this question, I will first delineate AI today and talk about the alleged advantages, risks, and the general characteristics of AI. Secondly, I will address Bernard Stigler's notion symbolic misery and Catherine Hale's usage of biosemiotics in order to theorize the implication of recent advances in digital computational media. Thirdly, I'll consider affinities between viral mechanism and digitally mediated realities. And finally, I'll discuss the needs for new media literacy. Digital automation and algorithmic governmentality are becoming ubiquitous. AI cannot be considered as an excellent technological innovation and useful application for human life. The smart machine automation of routine everyday tasks may produce more time for cultural, intellectual, pleasurable activities. AI can therefore offer more opportunity for humans to create and improve not just efficiency, but also quality of life. AI can also be considered as a great achievement in expansion of human cognitive capacities. This is because machine learning technology has achieved and generate knowledge from which are impossible to classify and inaccessible to humans. Hence, some argue AI can support humans in making decisions and enhance the capacity for creativity and innovation. An often mentioned negative scenario is that humans will be replaced by machines. The major implication is that lived experience and the tacit knowledge will be increasingly devalued, leading to human redundancy in many areas of life. Furthermore, as humans become more dependent on AI making decisions, human knowledge will become more obsolescent. Gradually, AI becomes integrated not only into social information systems, but also circumscribes people's way of thinking and then human value systems. Consequently, AI machine domination means that humans increasingly lose their control and autonomy. There is a well-known proverb among interface designers that real problem of interface is that it is an interface. This means that the ultimate goal of sophisticated interface design should be to make it invisible, so it should become so intuitive for users to operate. In this respect, AI as an invisible and intangible interface gradually exceeds human cognitive abilities and intelligence without our awareness and knowing. Algorithms collect information from datasets in the past and match them to optimize the result. This means that algorithms can reinforce existing patterns of particular view, value, and behaviors, and limit to create innovative idea, choice, and innovation. This fundamental mechanism could create bias. AI is pharmacon. This is Stigler's notion, which reflects the paradoxical double meaning, cure and poison. The pharmacon is clear in digital computerization in society. As mentioned so far, while AI can be used to augment human capacities and create a new opportunity for social development, it also entails new risks. Stigler was particularly concerned with exteriorization of practical and tacit knowledge in machines. He argued that digitalization and computerization of technical fields has led to the externalization of knowledge through a quote, the inscription of binary code into central processing unit composed by silicon, Stigler. Hence, he warned that human knowledge can be replaced by algorithmic calculations and digital computation undermine the knowledge of how to live. In short, the knowledge formation incorporated into AI technologies leads to human becoming just one of the elements in external decision-making processes. Humans are, therefore, devalued and lose autonomy and responsibility. Such aspect of externalization of human knowledge, in which the reliance on algorithmic calculation and code result in what Stigler refers to as symbolic misery. Catherine Hales also explore the interaction between human and technical systems, such as computers. Unlike Stigler, her approach focuses more on the mechanism of interconnectivities between a subject and its environment. She emphasized both computational media and the biological organism have similarities in their meaning-making formation through sign exchange processes. For computational media, operations are driven by code hairs, signs which may be indexical rather than symbolic. The sign works to signify something to sell in the biological organism too. This is why, for her view, biosemiotics is helpful. As Hales explained, biosemiotics originated with Jakob Wisko's concept of Umwelt. Umwelt refers to, quote, Wisko, all that subject perceives becomes his perceptual world, and all that he does, his effector world. Perceptual and effector world together form a closed unit, the Umwelt. Here, subjective orientation is important. We can understand that meaning-making processes are determined by subject with a specific worldview. The selection is biosemiotics is subjective, and the perception and meaning-making process are determined by specific worldview in a given environment. This could be something similar to logic of computational media. Computational media must operate in its data set environment to fulfill their pre-programmed purposes. It is always programmed to make a decision which is an anticipation of future consequences and achieve a result through calculation with pre-given data set environment. The differences between meaning-making process of biological organism and that of computational media is that whereas computational media achieve a result through calculation with a pre-given data set, biological organisms operate with subjectively selected element in given whole natural environment. It is, however, both have interconnectivities with given environment to make a decision. The question raised here is, what happened to complex human perception when they are interpenetrated by digital experiences as a given environment? There is interesting episode of animators drawing scale. One of the most renowned Japanese animators, Hayao Miyazaki, is critical of the younger generation of animators who had little direct experience of seeing real fire flames in contemporary urban life. Miyazaki thinks they can draw technically driven animation, but they cannot express the nature of the vitality of fire as a moving image. This means that they can only know and produce virtual fire flames. This is also indicate the younger generation animators' virtual experiences, which are produced by computer algorithms, can be interpenetrated into their tacit knowledge as a given environment. Therefore, the reality they construct has already been mediated by the technical and non-human perception. On the one hand, we might say that we suffer from a new form of alienation and the impossibility to perceive the world, perceive the real. On the other hand, we can also think that virtual experiences become part of our knowledge environment, given environment, which could lead to new ways of constructing reality. There is a recursive interconnection between a given environment and human perception. There could then lead to evolution of a new form of perception of the world, new perception of the reality. The recursive interconnection between given environment and human perception changes our view of the world. Interestingly, we can also find similar processes in virus mechanism. When virus enters the body, they go into the cell. When the virus inside the cell, it will open up so that its DNA, RNA will come out and go straight into nucleus. Then they will enter the molecule, which is like a factory, and hijacks the factory in order to make copies of themselves. These new copies will come out of the nucleus and assemble protein, protect their DNA and RNA. This means that they have self-preservation or defensive strategies. These millions of new copies then leave the already infected cell to infect other healthy cells, where they can multiply again. This is a process which healthy cells are increasingly replaced by replicated infected cells. Similarly, our given environment, which creates our perception of the world, is increasingly replaced by digital mediated realities. As we have witnessed, COVID-19 has had a huge impact on every aspect of everyday life and transformed our society. Likewise, the digitally mediated reality, which are created by AI technology, could have huge impact to change our perception of the world. If we follow this hypothesis, algorithmic reasoning in AI technology recursively incorporated into human perception, it is important to develop new digital media literacy in order to understand how we humans can be aware of this phenomenon and how we harness AI technologies. It is, however, the practices and education of new digital media literacy has been underdeveloped. This is because the new regulation and ethical frameworks for rapid technology innovation were insufficiently grounded, and people cannot adapt quick enough to radical technological transformations. In considering the increasing expansion of AI technologies, this paper points to the need to explore the potential symbiosis between biological, like humans, and the digital information machines, and the urgent need to develop new media literacy that will surely continue to be a vital topic for many years to come. Thank you.